Hello, friends. Just a quick understanding of RH as it relates to gold as a peg. So you can see here for last 1 year, we have RH Gold, PayPal, SPY, and JPM in the right colors, and also the tags shown up here. On the top, again, this is daily chart. We have gold. As you can see here, this is a price comparison of gold, and this is your RH. You can see on the top, and this is SPY. So on the top, the chart is showing the actual price comparison in terms of percentage divergence. At the bottom, it is showing the four instruments and their dollar differential, the true dollar differential. On the right side is nothing more than attempting to see the trend. This is nothing more than your Z score, which we have colored. So if you look at the Z score right now compared to historical events, we are at the standard deviation of 2. Most likely it might just pull back up. But the bigger insight, this is technical insight on the right side, but what drives those technical insights is the left side. And if you compare the RH industry with gold as a peg, and you can see that the extreme divergences on each side pulls back to the gold mean, and that is what is driving the endpoints of RH, trend ending points. And we will see that in two different outcome. Why did we use gold as a peg? Because you're dealing with retail market space, right? Compared to gold. If it was something else, we will be comparing with something else. All right, so let's make some case here. Now, if you look at the actual dollar denominations, actual dollar movement of these two, let me get rid of this. These don't really do much for us, all these technical indicators. But here, now the story is pretty clear. When there is a dollar clash between RH and gold, there should be a bounce, or there should be creating a opportunity for a divergence. So in our case, what we are saying is when these two collide together, at this point, we should see some end of existing trend in the opposite direction. As simple as that. So now let's see if that theory holds any factual story or not. So let's mark these scenarios. So at these points, when the gold and RH collided together, we should be seeing whatever RH was doing, sorry, it should be doing something else, which is reverting away from it again. It's like a deflection going on, right? All right. So that is first in last multiple times. Let's see if that really worked out or not effectively. So let's go back in time. So right here, you can see my cursor is approaching these clash points. So you can see technical analysis has a problem, right? That's why you can see here the trend was down fine, but it did not tell you that it has gone away from the mean. That's why all the Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels, they all are seeing how far deviation wise have you gone away from the mean, but there is something else going on. So even though this could have been a reversion, and we have a failure. And the failure stopped at the dollar denomination value right here, precisely. And these are daily charts, which means you're expecting a rally for a few days. Now, if it is a Friday to Friday, you got a good win. If this was Wednesday, it's still good, right? So you can see the point is at these points, hedging is not required for extra protection. That's the whole idea. But let's first validate the concept is true or not. And then second, I missed one clash here, right here. Then it diverged, went up and came back. Now in this point. Now this happened. Now these are monthly boundaries. Rallied for a while. It rallied for a while, right? Precisely second time. And the third time it clashed again, right here. It did the same thing. It rallied for a while. Now this time it rallied for half a month. This rallied for half a month. This one rallied for the entire month and a half. We cannot say how far it will go, but the point is the location is the key. And now where we are right now, we are right here again on this third touch, which is on January time frame, and then rallied again. And this was a 2 months big rally and great profits for profit seekers. Now this is what is driving the RH market. Now where we are, well, one thing has to happen. Gold will go up. This guy's going to go down, and we'll have the same clash symmetry. It is not there yet. All right, so that is the dollar clash summary of what's going on. Now, if you look at the actual price, now this is the real price and the divergence in percentage of price itself. Here we're comparing the dollar movement. Here we're comparing the price movement. Now here this is more about, how far have you been reverting away from the mean, right? So it's a measured move across the pinning object, which is your gold, right? All right, so let's see. So again, same concept. Now, if you see here, this was pulling on the top. Now here, there's a clash. Now let's see what happened here on these clashes. It came back on the price. See on the right side, right there. I'll mark it. Let's mark it with something different so we can see it. So potentially, they came together here. They came together here. Now this is more of a fundamental kind scenarios. So you probably may not be aware of it. Right here. And the third will be the divergence from the mean. We will check that also. Okay, so these are the points where it interacted. Effectively or ineffectively, but that's one thing, right? All right, so we have those interactions. And the third part is the divergence from the percentage divergence from it. So for that, we can just simply synthetically, we can do mathematically, but since we are building this scenario, so that's what we can do is we can just say from the line, how far it gold and these guys diverged. And then we simply roll, and then we double the rolls as well. So let me do that. Let's clone this drawing. And I would like to double this size as well. There are very additional techniques, but let's get started with the basics. So let me, so I want this double height, right? So let me maybe create a box like this, which is same height as this. Oh, I didn't want that. I wanted a box. Excuse me, sorry. Box. I just wanted a box like this. Okay, so I'm just trying to measure the divergence move. So one is the actual height, and this height can change. Nobody's stopping it. But the point is they don't diverge away from each other too much. and this is where the strategy could be had. Okay, so now we know this has happened, right, from the gold. So from the gold, when we saw it at the beginning of the year, last year, almost 12 months back, I'm just looking at 12 months back, these were the reflection points from the gold, right? So this was the height I took, and I'm going to keep reflecting it. So maybe I can just duplicate it, duplicate, move it down from the gold. Okay, let's keep this duplicated. Duplicate from the gold. Duplicate, and then let's see from the gold. Now this went a little further away, that's fine. So these should be the snaps. What we're expecting these to be is snaps. Okay, and then now there are smaller pings as well. There could be a high to high, low to low as well. This is a complete theory in itself, but duplicate. All right, so let's go duplicate. All right, so we're looking for how is this height being reached, and if it does, what are we expecting? We're expecting it to be pulled back. Now this is based on the volatility which we have for last 12 months. Now if the volatility expands, now we can have even this bigger ones, big boys. So this is a double one, right? So from this, the double height is right here. So what we do is we project it and say these are, oh my god, no, don't do that, sorry. Okay, these are my levels, and then I go back to the height and I just travel the height forward like this. Okay, like this, they're all coming down to the same level as you can see, and then we project a line again like this. Okay, all right, so now we got some, now this is a good medium size waves, right? Again, I hope I'm able to explain effectively. Now from this bottom, now this height is potentially is going to reach. Okay, let's check that out. Let's draw the lines. You don't, don't zoom in. I'm not trying to zoom in. I'm just trying to draw the line. All right. So this is where we are. So we're getting some context as a spiral of the price movement across the gold as a pin. And we're pegging this as scenarios. All right, so we got these scenarios. And now, again, let's do some few more. Duplicate. Okay, from this mean, we go here. So I am still maintaining the same height. I got it. Now, if there's a new heights are coming in, as you can see, I'm not taking those. And they will give us a smaller vibration, but I can do that too. So let's, we have to just revisit the energy sentiment analysis. Now this is a smaller one. Let's see, smaller ones. We can just, where do I start from? Let's look at this. Is the same as smaller one. Okay. So let's take the smaller one and rotate it forward. Same thing. Okay. So gives us an idea, gives us some ideas. I'm just rotating it on the gold pins. Rotating on the gold pins. Rotating on the gold pins. So this is a little bit of work. It's not easy. Easy means you should know the correlation between the instrument and the peg. And then you need to do what I'm trying to show you is programmable easily. That's what we did. So here we are. So now quickly you got the idea. Let me just do one last one. Duplicate drawing from this height. We already got that height. Let's do one more. Duplicate drawing from this up and down, right? So roughly, so we have some context. Market generated context. As you can just see, there's nothing to do with any oscillators or any other scenarios. Now this PEX can be found and through covariation matrices, relationship metrics, and then we can do all this across maybe hundreds of them, and how far the reflection is going to be. But we have to first validate going back in time and see if there's any value, right? And the philosophy is holding or not. So let me remove this guy. So we got that from the top, we got that from this top, and from this bottom we already predicted this area on the top, and then from this bottom now we have this from this guy predicted this from this guy. So that's why I like to draw the lines from, I know where they're coming from. And okay, so now we have a map how things will be playing around. Now I took care of that. So now let's see if the reflections, obviously you can see on the chart also it plotted, that's a good part of it, how they may have impacted our trend. So this one is the first one we saw where it reflected. We saw this one got reflected. Now we also know there's another confluence, which is the height away from the price percentage divergence, which happened here, and the dollar clash happened here. So this was a very good strong point for half a month. Is it half a month? Yeah, 26 to 7, almost like 7, 8, 10 days. Okay. All right. So this one, bottom is already, we already saw the bottom was also projected. These are coming from the big lines. And you can see it went there, deflected from there. This, right, went back to the gold. And then it went up to this height. From this reflection is heading up. And there we go. And it went up to this guy. And this height was also the height, big height, as a double height I did right there. Went to this guy and reflected again. Now we are getting some reflection at this point, and it is holding, and it is holding, right? So, so as you can see, these are the reflection points from the what I just explained several times. This is a percentage chart, this is dollar chart, and you can see how things are right now. So right now, if I have to do the same thing, if you want to keep the same height, what do? Just copy this, duplicate the drawing, go to the height, and just, yeah, so just draw this line here. So that means we should be, or if it has gone double, so let's do double also. So if it doubles, it can hit back to 246 area right here. You can just see, and if it is done moving, because on a weekly chart, there's contracts are, it is reaching a market maker contract area, which I will describe in the next video. Right here. Okay. So that is one height, and let's double it out. Why it is? If I'm getting confused, hold on. This is the height. Okay, and now let me just duplicate and double. Excuse me, right there. Okay. Okay, so here we are. So we have this context that if it doesn't stop here, it's going here for sure. That's how it is. And then we have this gold interaction. It is diverging. Now, as you can see, there are small, if I just take this height and reflect it on the top, reflect on the bottom, right? Those small heights are also there, but we are dealing with the big one. The idea was to give you the context. The idea was to show you the possibilities. And now you can see here the circles. Circles are also when they clash together. The way they clash on the bottom, if you can see the clash here on the top, right? it went from here, it stopped here, it got reflected. Then it went to the height. If you could take this bottom reflection and the top, it went to precisely to this top. You can just see here. So these clashes are also predicting you. See this? Tops, tops, bottoms, tops, tops, bottoms. There is some reflection coming in, and now how big are these reflections from here to here? And now this is a daily chart, 93 to 76. I mean, the small change like these. Now from here, 78 to 42, quite a bit. But you can just see that, right? Plotted on this. So all these reflections are visible to us through a different kind of denominations and different kind of observations, right? Now, once we have this context, now comes the trend lines and other technical analysis at this point. Ultimately, it's good to see if there's an order flow coming in. Is there any big players buying big scenarios or not? I hope this added some value, and now these kind of charts are visible. Now these are homegrown indicators on the bottom, I think, but this you can just, let's say if you're using Think or Swim, just put multiple instruments here, put gold, put RH, and there's a comparison tool right here, comparison study in build, put gold in one, and things like that, right? All right, so this is one beautiful approach to analysis, and as a team, more folks do it, more eyes the better. Now, other option is the divergence of intermarket plays, which is kind of different. So now if you have a JP Morgan here, and if they're diverging from, like if you look at the patterns, right? The patterns and the shapes of the bank and the gold, or the patterns of JP Morgan and SPY. If you look at that, the JP Morgan is diverging with S&P around $10,000 per contract. Now they deal with millions of dollars, right? So is there any relationship there? Is there any relationship between other things? This is something you need to discover and spend some time. I discovered one thing. I added one thing for based on my understanding, and hopefully folks can do similar scenarios. Is the relationship between RH and diverging between S&P? If you can just see this one here, right? So it's all intermarket relationships. Find the pin across which the things spiral. That's the story. And thank you very much.